Welcome to High Infidelity, the best cheating videos on YouTube. If you enjoy this content, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications. Now let's get into the video.
Update 2 in questions. I'm completely lost because I just found out that my 42 male, wife, 36 female, of 12 years has been having an affair from the police who called me in for questioning involving the assault of her love. I'll begin by thanking everyone who responded to both my initial post and my update. This sub was quite beneficial to me. I apologize for not responding to you immediately. I received so many messages that I couldn't keep up with them all. First and foremost, my kid is doing considerably better. He began counseling in the first week of January, and the change is immediately apparent. I asked him if he was okay with me talking to his therapist, and he said sure, so I've spoken to her a few times. My STBX, according to the therapist, verbally and emotionally abused our kid anytime they were alone together. When he was at home, he was not permitted to make any noise or bother her in any manner. She would abandon him for hours on end, and even overnight if I was out of town. If he informed me or anybody else, she would threaten to have him taken away and never see me again. According to the therapist, this has made him feel helpless and dependent at a moment in his growth when he should be feeling strong and self-reliant. So to that aim, I purchased him his own phone and assisted him in memorizing the phone numbers of family members, as well as many addresses as are important. I've also been teaching him situational awareness, paying attention to street names, and how to read building addresses. We also practiced asking for assistance by acting it out. How he may express to outsiders that he is in distress and does not feel secure. I know that seems foolish, but when he isn't at ease, my kid may be a little reclusive and bashful. Even though we've only been doing this for a few weeks, I can already see that it's helping him gain confidence. Any advice on how to continue to increase his self-reliance would be much appreciated. Right now, his safety and well-being remain my top priorities. In terms of me, I'm doing about as well as can be anticipated. I began therapy about the same time as my kid, and although I don't see my therapist as often as he does, it has been beneficial to be able to express my thoughts and emotions about all that has occurred to us and our family. The numbness has faded, but it has been replaced with a white-hot ball of rage in the pit of my stomach every time I think about my STBX and what she has done to our family. Surprisingly, while I hate feeling furious, it is much easier to live with than numbness. According to my therapist, this is a normal part of the mourning process, and it's not so much how we feel as it is how we channel those feelings. To be honest, my legal predicament is the scariest thing I've ever dealt with in my life. I was granted temporary full custody, child support, which I didn't want but my lawyer insisted on, and a prolongation of the order of protection for me and my kid. The court inquired whether we would approve supervised visits during the request for an order hearing, which neither my wife nor her lawyer attended, but my kid flatly refused, which was why my lawyer told me to bring him along. My son consented to talk to the judge alone when the judge requested him. The judge, stenographer, and a child welfare officer spoke with my kid in chambers for approximately 10 minutes. Following their discussion, the court issued the temporary injunction and ordered my son to undergo counseling and a psychiatric assessment. Fortunately, the therapist he is seeing is associated with or certified to deal with the courts, so he does not need to visit another therapist. This, according to my lawyer, is a positive thing since it implies his therapist can make a referral for custody. But the fact that she may obtain custody after what she put him through still terrifies the hell out of me. In terms of the AP, I'm not very knowledgeable. According to what my lawyers have learned, he is still alive, but in a hospital. I haven't heard from the cops since my original interview, so there's nothing new to tell. My STBX, on the other hand, I hadn't seen from the day I was questioned until Thursday. She's phoned me a few times, but I haven't responded, and when she called from another number, I hung up right away. I don't know what to say to her, and I don't want to hear what she has to say to me. Her lawyer asked for a preliminary hearing for our court-ordered mediation. She was sentenced during the second week of January. She was there with her lawyer, and I know it seems petty, but she looked horrible even with the mask on. My STBX was always a beautiful, athletic lady. I swear she looks like a supermodel in our wedding photographs, but now she's shed so much weight it's alarming. She seemed ill and weak. She couldn't even glance at me. She sat with her face down for the whole of the meeting. To cut a long tale short, everything they requested was ludicrous. They want visitation throughout the divorce procedures, as well as joint custody thereafter. They want us to get rid of the OP. She wants to cohabitate until the divorce is completed. I'm not kidding. She wants to live in the same home after all of this. It was so offensive that my head throbbed during the meeting. But it was all worthwhile because of the huge disclosure we made her lawyer. Her lawyer inquired as to how we should approach discovery for the division of assets, to which my lawyer responded with a stunned expression and stated, "What asset division? Read the prenuptial agreement." Her lawyer's expression was priceless. She hadn't informed her lawyer about the prenuptial agreement. My late uncle, who was a founding partner of the law company I employ, drafted the prenup and even got a lawyer to review it before we married. It's a work of art, according to my lawyer, since we never mingled monies, per my uncle's directions. My uncle gave me the home we reside in as a wedding present before we married. All utilities and insurance policies are in my name. All of the cars are registered solely in the name of the owner, and we never had to sign anything for each other's debt. We have one joint savings account for home upkeep and another for an emergency reserve. It contains around $8,000 in cash, which he has already depleted. It currently has less than $300 in it. According to the prenup, all marital assets and debt are to be split 50/50, and ownership of all intangible assets and personal debt reverts to the individual who accumulated it. The adultery provision basically says that we agreed that if either partner is discovered or confesses to committing adultery, they would lose their access to spousal support. There's a lot more to it, but my lawyer tells me that breaking this prenup will be almost difficult, since it's the most equitable prenup he's ever read. But what her lawyer didn't ask for was what truly screwed with me. He requested that we postpone the formal mediation for 6 months, while my STBX attends an inpatient drug misuse recovery program. Some people said in both of my previous postings that she could have a drug addiction problem, but I didn't even consider it since I couldn't imagine it. I spoke with my lawyer, who said that we would consider it and come back to them with our decision. My STBX spoke for the first time before we left and requested me to read a letter she had written me. My lawyer gave me the "this may be a snake, so be cautious" look, and I thought for a second before taking it. I read it when I came home, and now I'm sorry I did. It began with all of those busted cheater cliches that everyone warned me about. I adore you, I love our family, I know I mistreated son, and I hate myself for it, and I want us back. She did, however, explain that she began misusing her prescription following a major operation roughly 2 years ago. After a time, she began purchasing them from several of her coworkers, including AP. When she ran out of money, she began sleeping with him to make up the difference. She said she withheld this information from me because she was terrified I would make her stop, and she couldn't feel right without them. That he was nothing more than a fix for her, and she hates herself for what she's done to herself and to us. Now she claims she realizes how terrible what she's done is and wants to make things right for our family, and she begs me to give her some time to show it. Let me clarify unequivocally that I will never reconcile with my wife. Our marriage was finished the minute she cheated on me and harmed our kid, but where the F was I throughout all of this? I simply feel like the most stupid, dumb moron who has ever walked the earth's surface. Furthermore, how should I go from here? Is it only me who is discarding her, or am I right in feeling betrayed? Right now, I feel like a failure as a husband and parent. I mean, I have nothing but rage and hate for her, but is this how you treat someone facing the demons she is? I'm simply lost and forlorn once again. In any case, any suggestions would be much welcome.